The Life of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln is honored as perhaps the greatest leader in American history. His life and career embodied the deepest crisis in the nation's life, a crisis in which his moral courage, his clarity of vision, and his profound humanity were absolutely crucial to the survival of the United States. The background of his life, his humble origins in the pioneer farmsteads of the Midwest, his lack of formal education, the wisdom and eloquence which sprang from the deep wells of his spirit, the poetic grandeur of his speech, and his violent and tragic death at the moment of his triumph, all these give his life and personality a fascination that is inexhaustible. They have made him into the archetypal American hero, the man who came from the backwoods and the prairies to scale the heights of power, to guide and save his people. This was a role that was more than political. It was almost biblical. It was the fulfillment of his great baptismal name of Abraham. It was marching with destiny. That destiny was firstly to hold his nation together at a time when its disintegration appeared inevitable, and secondly, to free the millions of people whose position as slaves in the land of freedom in the second half of the 19th century was an outrage against humanity. Lincoln accomplished these great tasks, but at the cost of immense personal anguish and suffering. His tall, powerful figure became stooped and gaunt, and his features became gnawed by care, by sleeplessness, and by his terrible isolation. It was as though the wounds of his nation showed themselves on his flesh. Lincoln suffered these things and achieved these things and forged the history of America at its most desperate time. Yet to portray him as a saint, a brilliant visionary, or a single-minded genius would be a great mistake. Instead, he was a simple, humane man who grew slowly and painfully towards his moral certainties, his moment of power, and his destiny. His early life and his personality were not touched by any formal philosophy or religion. He discovered these things for himself, and he...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?